What would you do if the person who made your teenage years a living nightmare was living their best life? Laughing, loved, and soon to be married while you still carried the scars they left behind. For 13 years, I held my silence. Then one night, I decided it was time. Time to remind him that karma never forgets. Hey everyone, if you've ever wished you could give a bully a taste of their own medicine, hit that like button and subscribe. Today's story is about pain, patience, and one of the most satisfying, anonymous revenge stories you'll ever hear. Buckle up, this one's intense. I still remember the smell of the gym that day. Sweat, rubber floors, faint disinfectant. That's where I first realized Bill wasn't just another jerk. Bill was, well, the kind of guy you'd think had everything decent looks, built just enough to flex in gym class, and always surrounded by the so-called cool kids. But to me, and to anyone who didn't fit his idea of worthy, he was a predator. I was the opposite of Bill in every possible way: frail, quiet, never the one to pick a fight. I hung out with the kids who sat at the back of the cafeteria, the invisible ones every day. I'd walk the halls hoping to be unseen. But Bill, he saw me, and he made sure everyone else did too. I can still feel that first sting. A basketball slamming into the back of my head during gym when I wasn't looking. I heard the laughter before I saw who threw it. When I turned, it was Bill, smirking like it was the funniest thing in the world. In the crowded hallway, he'd hit me on the back hard enough to make me stumble, then dart away laughing. One time, he grabbed me by the collar, shoved me against the locker so close I could smell the sour breath of his cheap cafeteria lunch. I never fought back, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know how. I went home with headaches, sometimes even shaking. Nights were the worst, lying awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every insult. I remember thinking, if I just stay quiet enough, maybe he'll forget I exist. But bullies never forget. High school ended eventually, but the damage lingered. I left that place with my self-esteem in ruins. Even in my 20s, the memory of Bill's smirk could ruin my whole day. I rebuilt myself slowly, got stronger, learned to stand tall, learned to speak up. But that teenage part of me, the boy who froze in the hallway while everyone laughed, he never stopped wanting justice. Years later, I heard through an old classmate that Bill's life was going great. He was engaged to a sweet girl, judging by her Facebook photos. He had a steady job, smiling selfies, date nights, holiday dinners. It wasn't fair. How could someone who caused so much pain walk away without consequences? That night, something inside me shifted. For the first time in years, the old wounds didn't just ache, they burned. I wasn't that frail boy anymore. I could finally do something about it. I didn't want to hurt anyone physically. I didn't want to break the law. I wanted something more subtle, something that would cut just as deep as he cut me. I started by studying Bill's Facebook page, quietly, carefully. That's when I saw his fiancée. I clicked through her friends list, her family, even her cousins. I learned their names. I found their addresses through public records. Every new detail felt like a brick in the foundation of my revenge. I bought plain white envelopes at Walmart, paid cash. Same with the stamps. Different store, different city. No paper trail. For the actual letters, I went to a library in a city where no one would recognize me. Printed everything under a guest pass, cash only. Gloves on the entire time. The letter I wrote was simple, disturbingly simple. I pretended to be one of Bill's ex-girlfriends. I know this may be strange to receive, but I feel compelled to warn you for her safety. Bill is not who he seems. He was violent with me. I stayed silent too long, and I regret it. I don't want her to live the nightmare I lived. I described fake incidents of abuse, black eyes, a broken rib, a trip to the hospital. The words were chillingly believable. I printed 10 copies, sealed them with water to avoid fingerprints, taped each address onto the envelope. Late at night, I drove 3 cities over wearing a hoodie, sunglasses, and a mask. I dropped them into a public mailbox, no cameras nearby. The next morning, I felt lighter, almost nervous, almost thrilled. Weeks passed. No sign of anything. Then months. One evening, I checked their profiles again. Bill's Facebook was quiet. Too quiet. The engagement photos were gone. Relationship status single. I stared at the screen for a long time. Somewhere in the world, Bill was sitting in confusion, trying to explain himself, trying to fix the damage. And I wasn't there to see it. I didn't need to be. A year later, I sent just one more letter, an entire sheet of paper with nothing on it except a giant, hand-drawn smiley face. No words, no threats, just a reminder that someone out there still remembered. I imagined the look on his face when he opened it. His stomach twisting, wondering who was behind it all. For me, that moment was 13 years of bottled up pain finally breathing free. The bully who once thrived on humiliating others had been humiliated himself, exposed, distrusted, abandoned by the woman he planned to marry. And I didn't lift a single fist. For the first time in my life, I felt like the scales had finally balanced. It wasn't about cruelty, it was about closure, about telling the kid I used to be your safe now. We got him back. You know, revenge doesn't always mean violence. Sometimes it's just a quiet reminder that no one gets to hurt you forever without consequences. I'll never know if his fiancée believed every word, but I like to think I saved her from learning the hard way. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button right now and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or imagined? Don't forget to subscribe for more true stories where karma always finds its way back.